Okay, now we're going to talk about the next type of movement possible at synovial joints, and this type of movement we're talking about are different types of rotational movements. And so just like last time, I'll be doing demonstrations to help you visualize these movements. Okay, so first of all we'll have again one bone versus the other bone. Okay, here we are. All right, and rotation is simply where you're twirling it. Okay, so one bone is rotating relative to the other bone. Okay. Now if we look on here, we're going to notice that there's different types of rotational movement. Left rotation and right rotation are going to refer only to the head. Lateral rotation and medial rotation, we're talking about the limbs rotating in certain ways. And then pronation and supination is only going to be something that is a rotation that's occurring at the proximal joint between the ulna and the radius. So again, to show you this, by the proximal joint of the ulna and the radius, we're talking about rotation here. Okay, and so let me go ahead and demonstrate these to you. Okay, left rotation and right rotation, that's pretty simple. So left rotation is just rotating the head so that you could look over your left shoulder. And then right rotation, the opposite, rotating your head so you could look over your right shoulder. Okay. Lateral and medial rotation, I think that's best seen with this hip joint, so let me adjust the camera angle a little bit. Okay, so this would be anatomical position. In lateral rotation at the hips, I'm going to rotate this entire limb so that it's facing out. And in fact, if I want to be a ballerina, I've got to rotate that entire limb so that the anterior surface that's normally anterior in anatomical position is now facing laterally. So lateral rotation. Now medial rotation is going to be the opposite. So if I wanted to rotate my limbs at the hips so that everything is facing in, then that will be medial rotation. Okay, and then the last one is going to be pronation and supination. And that's where I'm just rotating here. Okay, so again, it's that radial and ulnar joint where that head of the radius is rotating. Okay, and so this is anatomical position. So if I move it so that the surface of this part faces posterior rather than anterior, then that is going to be called pronation. So I think it's facing posterior, starts with a P, so the movement is pronation, starts with a P. And then supination is going to be the opposite, where you're bringing those surfaces back into anatomical position. So that's supination. And some people say, before you can ask for a cup of soup, please, you would have to supinate your hand first to then flex it and bring it for soup. Okay, so pronation is going to be this movement, supination is this movement. And again, this is showing your notes packets where you can look through these different terms, write them in your own words, and then again I would suggest that you use the charts in your lab manual to look through it and discover for yourself which parts of the body are capable of these sorts of motions.